How I Met Your Mother is my all-time favorite sitcom, and one reason I love it so much, something that I think the show does really well that separates itself from a lot of other sitcoms, are its characters. In a lot of other sitcoms, the characters can feel a lot like caricatures instead of real people at times. For example, The Big Bang Theory, which follows a group of nerds, except you can clearly tell that it wasn't written by an actual nerd, rather someone who thinks they know what all nerds are like. Or Friends, a show that started off with the characters acting like actual mature adults, but as the series progressed, they got increasingly shallower and developed into basic stereotypes. Like, for example, Monica is the clean freak, and Ross is the awkward one, and Rachel's the shopping addict, and Chandler's the sarcastic one, and Joey is the dumb stud, and Phoebe is freaking awesome. But How I Met Your Mother is not like that. In this show, every character is rich and emotionally complex, and that's one of the reasons why I love it so much. Every character is perfectly flawed. And I've seen a lot of videos and discussions talking about the relationships between the different characters, like Barney and Ted, Ted and Robin, Marshall and Lily, Lily and Robin, but one relationship that I think is very underrated and doesn't get talked about nearly enough as it should is the relationship between Lily and Ted. This is one of my favorite relationships in the entire show. It's handled very well, and I think it's rare to see a well-developed relationship between a man and a woman that is 100% platonic. And in this video, I'm going to be exploring their friendship and explain why I love it as much as I do. So let's start off with how they met. So in the show, we are told that Ted, Marshall, and Lily all met each other in college. Ted and Marshall were roommates, and they both met Lily when she knocked on their dorm room door, and after this, they all became quick friends, and Marshall and Lily started dating. Now, this is still very early on in their relationship, so Marshall is still unsure about where this whole thing with Lily could lead. And we see this in the scene where Ted and Marshall are taking their first roommate picture in their dorm room. In this scene, Ted invites Lily into the picture because he sees her as part of the group as well. But Marshall is the one who is unsure about including Lily in the picture and asks Ted, "What if they break up?" To which Ted replies, "What if you don't?" And I think it's really interesting how the show subverts your expectations because, in general, in movies and TV shows, when you have two male best friends and one of them is in a relationship, it's usually the one who's not in the relationship that doesn't like the girl and tries to convince the guy in the relationship that she will get in between their friendship. But here it is quite the opposite. And we see this again when Marshall goes on his third date with Lily, and he is again unsure about committing to a long-term relationship with her, and once again, Ted is the one who reassures him. It is Ted that tells Marshall that he should keep on dating Lily and see where it goes. These moments show what a great friend Ted is to, not just Marshall, but Lily as well. It shows that Ted never saw Lily as an outsider, and their relationship really grows as the show progresses. One standout moment that shows how comfortable and trusting they can be with one another, and is also my favorite moment between them, is the rooftop scene. At this point in the series, Barney is engaged to Robin, who is Ted's ex-girlfriend. Ted tells everyone how happy he is for them and how he's glad that he's finally moved on, but Lily can see right through him. She knows when Ted is not being genuine, in the same way that Ted can also tell when Lily is not being genuine, and again, this shows how well they actually know each other. They know each other so well to the point where they can instantly tell when the other one is lying. And what happens in the scene is Lily takes Ted up to the roof to talk with him in private. She tells him to, in his own words, to cut the crap and to say how much he hates that Robin and Barney are getting married. Ted denies this, telling Lily that she's wrong and that he's actually happy for them because he doesn't want to be seen as the bad guy. And because Ted won't open up about how he truly feels, and instead choosing to keep these emotions bottled up, Lily decides to tell Ted something that she has also kept bottled up.
Sometimes I wish I wasn't a mom. Sometimes I want to pack a bag and leave in the middle of the night and not come back.
This is something that she has never told anyone before, not even Marshall, her own husband. But it works, because after this, Ted says,
"Robin shouldn't be with Barney, she should be with me."
Ted then asks her if she really feels that way, and Lily talks about how much she does love her kids and she does love being a mom, but because of the responsibilities that come with motherhood, along with her job, she has very little time to herself anymore. She has no time for her own passions like art, something that once took over her entire life has now been pushed into the background. A lot of people like to hate on Lily, and yes, she certainly does have her flaws, but at the end of the day, I think that she is the most realistic and relatable character on the show. But anyway, I really love this moment between them. They have a very intimate, honest, and mature conversation about the things that are weighing them down, and I think that it is a very raw, well-written, well-acted scene. I interpret Ted and Lily's relationship as a very deep sibling-like bond, and I think this scene demonstrates that perfectly. But their relationship also isn't all sunshine and rainbows, because in Season 2, Episode 11, titled How Lily Stole Christmas, Ted and Lily get into a fight. And this isn't just some petty one-off argument. This fight they had was huge. So it all goes back to season 1 when Lily breaks off her engagement with Marshall to pursue her art career. And I understand where she was coming from, because if she got married, she knew that she would have a lot less free time to explore her own passions of becoming an artist. However, the problem is the way she handled the situation. She handled it terribly. This is something that she should have told Marshall back when they were dating before deciding to get married, and then spewing all of this information on him just a few months before their wedding and making him look like the bad guy. But anyway, in season 2, Lily and Marshall are back together, Ted has forgiven her, and everything appears to be back to normal. That is until Christmas, when Lily helps decorate Ted's apartment and finds out that Ted called her a Grinch from a message that he had left Marshall on his answering machine, which is a substitute for a much worse word that I am not going to say, because if I do, the corporate overlords at YouTube HQ will demonetize this video. But back to what I was saying. So Ted calls her a Grinch, Lily gets mad at him and demands an apology, but Ted doubles down. And it is here where we find out that Ted has not actually forgiven Lily.
And he's forgiven me, and we've moved past it. Why can't you?
Because you never apologized to me.
And again, this further reinforces how close Ted and Lily actually are, and shows how hurt and betrayed he felt after the breakup. So both of them won't apologize to each other, and Lily ends up taking away all the Christmas decorations from Ted's apartment and brings them back to her cramped tiny apartment, which I do think is a very immature thing for her to do. But anyway, the episode ends on a happy note. Ted realizes that friendship is way more important than holding a grudge. They both apologize for the way they acted and end up celebrating Christmas at Ted's cousin Stacy's house. It's a very sweet episode that gives development to both characters and further strengthens their bond. So overall, I absolutely love Ted and Lily's relationship. It definitely has its ups and downs, but that's what makes their bond so special, that even after a big fight, they still care about one another and can still find it in their heart to forgive each other and admit their mistakes. And also that they feel very comfortable around each other and are able to open up about their own personal struggles that they can't really talk about with the rest of the group. So anyway, that's it for this analysis, like video essay type of thing that I'm doing, I guess. If you guys have any thoughts on Ted and Lily's relationship, please do let me know down below in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like, it really helps out the channel a lot, and yeah, that's about it. See ya.